Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, California Weather Watch. Today is April 14th, and right now we're looking at the infrared satellite imagery. You can see California right here. Not much going on to speak of right now, and we are starting to melt the snowpack slowly but surely here across some of the higher terrain. However, we do have some colder weather coming for the state of California. We'll take a look at that in some detail. You can see this cold air spilling out over the Gulf of Alaska. It's eventually going to start to make its way into northern and central California as we go on in through early next week. We'll take a look at those details here coming up in a moment. We'll take a look at some of the drought conditions across some of the western U.S. as well, and some of the snowpack and the snow water equivalent and how we're doing. Taking a look here at the weather station that I've been working on recently. It's got an ultrasonic anemometer, UV index, solar radiation sensor, lightning detector. It's all solar powered. You don't have to add any batteries. It's all wireless. It stores all your data in the cloud. These stations talk to each other across the nation. It's really great. I'm very impressed with this weather station. Click on that link down below for 10% off Pacific NW in the checkout code. Taking a look at the drought monitor. Look at the state of California. Moderate drought is the worst you see here now, folks. There is no more severe drought in the state of California. Very impressive, especially since we were dealing with extreme and exceptional drought just a year ago now. Taking a look at the snowpack percentage of normal here. Look at some of the southern Sierra, still up over 300% here. You know, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, portions of Colorado, and New Mexico are all doing quite well here. So pretty impressive snowpack in place out there right now. And as it starts to melt off, there are some flooding concerns, of course, associated with this. This is looking at snow water content here across California. Got north, south, and north central and south here, and you can see 293% here in the southern Sierra right there. That is a record high for the central. 230%. That is a record high, just above that 1982, 1983, and across the northern, it's just below what that 1982, 1983 season brought us here. So you can see well below average across the entire state. This is looking at the statewide summary, 91, and we're 91 stations reporting, and we're down to the 60 inches here. So we are starting to melt off the snowpack here as we go. Now, looking at current hazards, there are all some of these flood watches here in effect with all the snow melt that is occurring. This really could be extended to many more areas here as we start to warm up as we go through April and head towards May. This is looking at Phoenix, Arizona. You can see some nice warm temperatures here coming up, and maybe a bit of a cool down as we go through later next week. We'll see how that trends. This is Las Vegas. You can see kind of that cool down coming as we go through the mid portion of next week coming up here. And again, we'll watch that as we go. Kind of a nice graphic here from the National Weather Service, Las Vegas here. And you can see some desert safety out there. Kind of interesting that the National Weather Service would put out something like this, but it can be very helpful for people that are first-time hikers out there across some of the desert for sure. This is looking at Hawaiian Islands here. There's California. We're looking at the European, the 6-hour precipitation total and pressure. So you can see this very cold air out over the Pacific Ocean here, eventually going to try to make its way down into California and impacting portions of central California here as well. Some higher elevation snow will probably occur with this system here as we go on in through Tuesday and Wednesday coming up. Now, well, more on that here in a moment with the 10-to-1 snow ratio. I'm just going to move through this quickly, and you can see the timing of this as we go through the day. Monday, it's going to start occurring over some of the higher terrain of California, then eventually move down across some of the central Sierra here as we go on in through Tuesday night, Wednesday morning before that system starts to move on. Here we're looking at 850 millibars. We're checking to see if we're going to warm up or cool down here as we go through the forecast. We've got the European on the left, the GFS on the right. Again, there's the Hawaiian Islands. Pacific Ocean is here. Here's California. Same map on both sides. Now we start to warm up a bit here in advance of this trough across some of the state, but we quickly cool back down as we go on in through Monday and Tuesday shown. And now look at this, the GFS and the European agreeing with some chillier air aloft here. So we're going to keep things from melting too fast. The only problem with this is that the longer we delay that snow melt here, the closer we get towards May, and the potential for a really big warm up starts to get greater and greater. But as we go on into the 144-hour period here towards mid portion of next week, this would be about Wednesday night here. You can still see the pretty chilly upper level trough here across a lot of the west coast of North America. Now looking at the reservoir conditions, I just like to check up on this. Look at Shasta seems to tick up 1% almost every single day, now at 91% of its reservoir capacity there. A lot of these reservoirs doing quite nice, many of them at or above historical average. This is looking at El Nino conditions here, probably coming up as we go through the summer, fall, and winter months here. As we get towards December, about almost a 90% chance that we will be in El Nino conditions. Just how strong the El Nino will be, we are not quite sure just yet, but some of the models are pointing at quite a robust El Nino coming. This is looking at the Central Pacific. There's Australia, the Hawaiian Islands, there's California here. You can see La Nina that was in place. And as you can see the timeline scrolling through here going into March, look at that warm water building up off the coast of South America there. As we get these trade winds relaxing here, we stop pulling this water away from the coast of South America, and the upwelling gets cut off here. So that's why things start to warm up, and this warmth eventually extends all the way across the region where we measure those ENSO, the Southern Oscillation temperatures, which gives us either La Nina or El Nino. And you can clearly see how we were well below average there. And as we go towards the end of the run, this gets replaced with above average temperatures here as we go on in through March into April here. But right now, we're right about neutral conditions across a lot of the Central Pacific Ocean here, and that will be increasing as we go into the future months. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. So we have that system coming in as we go through early to mid next week, mainly central Northern California here. But that trough looks like it's going to keep the area cool as we go through next week as well. So we'll continue to watch the forecast as we go. I'll try to cover more areas here when things get a little slower, like I did with Arizona, Nevada, some of Utah here, showing the snowpack out there and where the snow melt is occurring. And we'll just kind of go through this here day by day. But right now, it looks like we're going to remain chilly here through next week. And then we'll keep watching off in the future here, see if we have any rapid warm-ups in our forecast. But anyway, I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. Click like and subscribe if you want that weather station. Click on the link below for 10% off. And we'll do this again either tomorrow or the next day. And I will talk to you guys then.